Right, so this one, vaccine administered second dose on the 26th of October, and then committed suicide on the 28th of October. So this one, I mean, it says there in the green, his mother has requested this to be reported as it was unclear whether the vaccination played a role in his worsening mental health in the day preceding his death. So mum's got a gut feeling, an instinct, a question. And I mean, certainly everything that went on during 2020 and 2021 played with the mental health of everybody, and teenagers perhaps more so than other people. So whether it's the vaccine, whether it's the lockdowns, and the fear mongering, that certainly wouldn't have helped mental health. And there are
It's,
reports of altered mental state following the vaccination as well.
yeah, it's worth mentioning that Pfizer's own post-marketing report that was for the first 3 months of widespread use after approval in the UK and the States first, did have multiple reports of altered mental state, sudden emotional instability, and suicidality. And subsequent to that, in the following 4 years, there have been large data sets now, particularly from South Korea, which has a very well organized system of monitoring, and that they reported increased rates of depression, which of course can lead to suicide, and anxiety, and cognitive impairment, and dementia in people who've received the vaccine versus those that haven't. So, there's straightforward mechanistic pathways. We know that you can look biomedically at depression and you can find indicators of inflammation in the brain. And you only need a very, very small disturbance in the chemistry of the brain to produce marked disturbances in the way we feel. And the brain does many things, but including producing our experience of our life. So it's not rocket science to suspect that the brain may be affected, and plainly it is in some people.
Well, yes, and I mean, that's interesting that the mother insisted the report be filed. I mean, in theory, the doctor's job is to report everything, not to triage it, not to make a decision, is it related or not. So an event, a medical event, a serious medical event, 2 days after a novel medical procedure should automatically be reported. But
Yes.
as we've said, many had not been. Right, so this one, yes, 19th of January, got the vaccine, 14th of February, died from a seizure. So I think Liz Gunn has interviewed at least a couple of parents of young men who've died following seizures, following their vaccination. It was on that list, slide 16, of things that they expected to be seen.
Yeah, I know the case and the family, and the mum particularly. We've written to the coroner and tried to get some acknowledgement of the possibility at least of the vaccination worsening what was actually previously well-controlled epilepsy. And again, there are reports in the post-marketing survey, and I'm sure, well, I know in VAERS as well. So remember, the post-marketing survey was Pfizer's own in-house reporting system, and it was the reporting record that had 1,223 deaths following vaccination reported, over 40,000 symptoms described in 23 or 4,000 people. So, it's a significant document, and Pfizer intended to keep that quiet for 75 years. And a group in the States went to the court and got these documents released. So along with that, many other documents are still being analyzed because there were so many. But this is a feature of some of the contracts as well that have been whistleblown around the world, that governments have to try and keep evidence of significant side effects quiet for quite a number of years. And how is that contributing to informed consent? And how is that helping keep people safe? And if in fact you have evidence of serious harms and you bury it, then you can be certain that more people will be harmed subsequently and possibly die, and you're keeping quiet. And as we've been saying increasingly clearly lately, that seems to us to breach the Crimes Act. So somebody needs to look at that. But we're just looking at the information that is out there, and it's not painting a pretty picture.
Right, so again, highly unusual. So 16th of May had first dose, 22nd of May dead with a blood clot stroke. So, blood clot blocking a blood vessel in the brain is what a thrombotic stroke is. So 24-year-old females, again, highly unlikely. I mean, potentially could be put down to a pill if she was on a pill, contraceptive pill. Doesn't say anything about that in that report. Interestingly, the line listing the MedSafe data for that AEFIA number refers to a male who's 60 to 69. So, it raises questions about the integrity of the data, but certainly a thrombotic stroke would be much more likely to occur in a 60 to 69-year-old male than in a 24-year-old female.
Yeah, and it is worth just emphasizing that these things do happen to people. And in a long career, you may see a couple of these cases, or hear of a few more. But one thing we're often accused of is selection bias, where we grab onto things that seem to support the case we're trying to make, even if they're not relevant. But I think we are entitled to benefit of our long experience in some cases, and just the sheer sort of similarity and volume of these cases that A, are proximal to vaccination, and B, where vaccination is not included in the investigation as a possible cause, only adds to the suspicions.